Hey everyone, I'm Lindsay Ashley with Keller Williams Realty Select, and I'm a realtor here in the beautiful Sunshine State of Florida, and I have another very important topic to discuss with you today: how to prepare for a hurricane in Florida. If you've been paying attention to the tropics lately, I bet you've noticed the unbelievable amount of storms that have formed during the 2020 hurricane season. Folks that have lived in Florida for a while are used to this, but if you are new to the Sunshine State and planning to purchase your next home here, you need to watch this video until the very end so you can learn how to be prepared for a hurricane like a real Floridian. Before we begin, consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell. If you are serious about purchasing or selling a home here in Florida, you will want to stay up to date with all of my future videos with helpful information about the amazing housing market here in the Sunshine State. Thank you for subscribing. Hurricane prep is the most important thing a homeowner in Florida can do, and it's actually pretty simple if you follow the steps I'm going to share with you today. Why am I telling you all of this? Because I want you to make sure you keep your investment safe. Here's what to do during a hurricane to make sure you keep your home safe and your family secure. Tip number one is to create a hurricane plan. First things first, you need to come up with a game plan for hurricane preparedness. Will you stay home and ride out the storm, or will you choose to evacuate to a location outside the storm's path? This decision is up to you for the most part. If you're in a coastal area though, you may be subject to the occasional mandatory evacuation. If that happens to you, you'll want to be ready to pick up and go at a moment's notice, during hurricane season at least. Even if you're inland, you might not be spared from an evacuation order. For instance, if you live in an area prone to flooding, or if the storm is fairly strong, you may be affected. Act accordingly by having a game plan for you and your family to stay safe during hurricane season. The second tip is know your hurricane evacuation routes and shelter locations. Let's say you're hit with a mandatory evacuation order. Where do you go? Well, Florida actually has evacuation routes that are predetermined to help Floridians safely make their way out of the affected areas. The American Red Cross has an amazing resource available online that provides evacuation routes, storm surge maps, and shelter locations for each county in the state of Florida. Pretty nifty, right? Check the video description for a link to the American Red Cross website to learn more. Here's a crucial thing to remember if you are evacuating: secure your home before you leave. Close your windows and lock them along with your doors. Unplug any electronics aside from freezers and refrigerators. Or if flooding is a concern in your area, just unplug everything. Following these steps may help to mitigate some of the damage that may occur to your property. And the third tip is stock up on supplies. If you remember at the beginning of 2020, there was a massive shortage of toilet paper as many people were told to stay home to help stop the spread of COVID-19. For many folks, this was a frustrating experience, watching all the shelves go bare as people bought up all of the supplies to shelter in place. For lots of Floridians, however, this happens every year. Whenever storms follow a path that might include Florida, Floridians will often go to the store and stock up on supplies to use while riding out of the hurricane. What does this mean for you? Stock up ahead of time so you're not left empty-handed when you truly need the supplies. Here are examples of supplies to consider having on hand ahead of time: a battery-operated radio, cash, first aid kits, flashlights, extra batteries, medications, water, and food. Enough for a 3-day supply, and make sure it's non-perishable, as a loss of power could mean a loss of food supplies. For more tips on what to purchase for your hurricane survival kit, you can visit www.ready.gov. And this government resource has tons of information to help you prepare properly for a hurricane. And my fourth tip is don't forget about your furry friends. While you may have all the necessities covered for yourself and your family, don't forget about Fido. Make sure to stock up on pet food, medications, and supplies that may be needed prior to the arrival of the hurricane. Here's a pro tip. For all you viewers that have dogs at home, your pup is probably going to be stuck inside for a long time while the storm passes through. So if you're hunkering down at home, you may need to have some creative solutions to cure your pet's boredom so they don't go nuts and destroy your furniture. Toys and activities to keep them entertained while you stay home go a long way. Plus, don't forget that they still need to go potty, so you might need to buy some puppy pads and let Fido take a little tinkle in the garage. Sounds a lot safer than cracking the back door and letting him go out in the yard. My fifth tip is, have you ever heard of hurricane shutters? For those of you that are brand new to Florida, you might not be so familiar with this. However, it's an item that is super important to have for your home. Hurricanes have the potential to fling around lots of debris, which can sometimes hit your house and your windows. And to prevent this debris from doing damage to your windows and letting all that rain and wind inside, you can install hurricane shutters on the exterior of your house. These shutters form a barrier over your windows of your home, effectively eliminating this issue. You also get an insurance deduction. They are often made of metal though, so it's going to be a little bit darker than usual in your home. That's okay though, because you've got your flashlight in your hurricane supply stash, right? Tip number 6 is consider a generator. And while the initial investment could be a tad pricey, investing in a backup generator for your home could help you remain comfortable in the event of an extended power outage. Backup generators are a common sight in Florida. Homeowners will hook them up to their home, and these generators will kick on when the power goes out, keeping items in their home supplied with fresh electricity. Some generators are smaller and might only supply enough power to keep your fridge powered up and to run a fan or two to circulate the air in your home, but others are much larger and can basically power your entire household, as long as you've got the gasoline to keep up with the power demands. This is another one of those supplies that tends to fly off the shelves very quickly during hurricane season, so consider purchasing one in the off season when there's less demand. They'll also usually have sales when it's off season. Tip number 7, store your important documents safely. And this is really something that you should do regardless of where you live, but it's especially true in Florida. We all have extremely important documents in our home, like social security cards, birth certificates, passports, etc., that must be secured. So to do this properly, you will need to consider investing in document storage containers that are water and or fireproof. And this small investment up front will save you a ton of headaches in the future, I promise. The good news is these types of document storage containers are readily available at many stores, so you shouldn't have too much trouble finding one and getting your documents secured ahead of time. So my 8th tip is identifying your shelter room. And if you're going to ride out the storm at your home, you want to make sure that you know which location in your home is the safest. Ideally, you want to be in a space on the first floor, centrally located in the home, away from windows and doors. Sometimes bathrooms or closets can make good for places in the home to take shelter, but not always. For instance, if the bathroom has a skylight, that's a no-go. Tip number 9 is get your trees trimmed. Florida properties often have beautiful greenery and bloom year-round to admire. Palm trees, for instance, adorn the front and backyards of many Floridian homes and are just a delight to witness. But here's the thing about palm trees though. The fronds need to be trimmed every once in a while. And if you don't do the proper maintenance, these fronds can become loose and fall off the tree. Coupled with high winds and rain, these fronds could potentially fly off the tree and smash into your house or even your car. And the 10th tip is move your car inside your garage. I know, I just told you about those pesky palm fronds hitting your car, so how dare they? So here's the thing though, you could avoid this issue entirely if you just put the car in the garage during the storm. Don't have enough room? Too much stuff in there? So make a temporary space for the car and rearrange your garage after the storm has passed. It's only a minor inconvenience, and providing shelter for your vehicle could save you a lot of headache later with like insurance claims, car repairs, you name it. Some of you may say, Lindsay, I don't have a garage on my property. I hear you. If that's the case, you could try to find another secure location to store your vehicle if needed. During some stores, you may find that local parking garages will allow residents to park their vehicles inside, sparing them the worst of the wind and rain as well as localized flooding. Pretty smart, right? Tip number 11, which is a really important one, is gas up your vehicles ahead of time. There's nothing worse than needing to evacuate and having no gas in your car. When there's a storm headed your way, you'll notice that long lines start to form at the gas stations, and many stations run out of fuel entirely. So to avoid the panic of trying to get gas for your car at the very last minute, fill up your tank and keep it topped off as storms show signs of approaching Florida. That way, you're not left waiting in a 2-hour line of cars trying to get fuel. This goes for generator fuel as well. Also, make sure you're only storing fuel in your vehicle or in authorized containers. All right, everyone. Those are some of my tips on how to prepare for hurricane season in Florida. Which tips will you be following to make sure your house is hurricane ready? Let me know in the comments down below. And also share some of your tips so I can be more prepared. Also, do not forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. You will not want to miss my upcoming videos all about the real estate market here in sunny Florida. I am Lindsay Ashley with Keller Williams Realty Select, and if you're looking for a realtor to help with your next home purchase or sale, Head on over to www.lindsayashley.com. You can schedule a free call with me to talk about your plans to buy or sell. Contact me today so we can work together to find a home that you love. You can even get a free home evaluation. Just ask me how. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.